You know, for years, all we've heard from the Republicans is Hunter Biden's laptop. The American people deserves to know what's in that laptop. They deserve to know what the president's son has been up to. What kind of business dealings has he had? How is Joe Biden connected to those? The American people deserve to know. And they have sat there and beat that dead horse to death over the years, telling us that we deserve to know. These files need to be open. We need to see what's in there. Unless, of course, it's the Epstein files, and then, well, no, wait a minute. Now, there's some fake stuff in there. We can't really release those because there's a lot of stuff in there, according to Trump, might affect some people's lives. And now they're trying to block the Matt Gatez report from coming out because hypocrisy is their game. So before we read this article here from MidasNews.com, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're now on the road to 500,000, and I'm sure we can get there soon. And again, I appreciate your all's support so much. But folks, here's some more MAGA hypocrisy 101. Speaker Mike Johnson tries to block the release of the Gatez report. This was written by Aaron Parnas from Midas Touch Network, MidasNews.com. Speaker Mike Johnson is now working to block the highly damaging House Ethics Committee report into the sex trafficking allegations concerning Republican Congressman Matt Gatez. Matt Gatez was previously a member of the House of Representatives, where he was under investigation by the House Ethics Committee over sex trafficking and other allegations. According to an ABC report, a woman testified in front of an ethics committee claiming she had had sex with Matt Gatez when she was 17 years old. Now Gatez has been appointed as Donald Trump's nominee to have the highest law enforcement officer in the country, the Attorney General. 2 days before the Ethics Committee was set to vote on whether or not to release the report into Gatez' allegation, Gatez surprised many and chose to resign. As a result, the committee lost jurisdiction over the allegations. Despite that, there has been a bipartisan push from the Senate Republicans and Senate Democrats to see the report so that they would be able to fully vet the nomination. Speaker Mike Johnson, however, has other plans. According to the latest report, Johnson is going to request that the Ethics Committee not release the report. Despite that back when discussing the possible release of information concerning January 6th insurrectionists, Johnson promoted the idea that the public should draw its own conclusion over what happened. He said, look, we want the American people to draw their own conclusions. I don't think partisan elected officials in Washington should present a narrative and expect that it should be seen as the ultimate truth on it, which we know that they hid certain elements. We want transparency. We should demand it. The American people do. Now, when one of his own is implicated, Johnson is changing his tune. If the report vindicates Matt Gatez, don't you think the public would have seen it by now? And again, when it comes to the January 6th insurrectionists, he wants people to draw their own conclusions. He doesn't want those reports to come out. When it comes to the Epstein files, Trump says, no, we can't really dig into all that because that might disrupt some people's lives. And now when it comes to Matt Gatez, yeah, let's not release that just yet. Let's let the public decide what the truth is. Let's not tell them the truth, but let's sit and just hammer. Let's hammer this dead horse to death about Hunter Biden's laptop, which, by the way, they had and was never able to bring out any evidence. But yet they wanted to know all about that. It screams of hypocrisy. It absolutely reeks of it. And that's why I've never been able to take them seriously as a party, because there's no consistency with them. If they truly cared about the children, then they would want to make sure that one of their own had never harmed a child. And you would think that would be the ultimate, sin in MAGA. But instead, they all have these allegations, and according to them, all of these allegations are fake allegations from the deep state. None of it's real. You're supposed to trust them with that, and you're supposed to draw your own conclusions. Well, people will. People will look at that and they'll draw their own conclusion, and they'll say, oh, the evil deep state is coming after Matt Gatez now because they don't want him to be the Attorney General. And if we saw that report and the truth all came out, would it matter to MAGA? Would they care? So if you'll notice, the only time they want to know about Epstein is if they can somehow link it to a Clinton. But when it's Trump mentioned, or you show all the pictures of Trump sitting with him and all the receipts that we brought on that whole story, never move the needle. So that's why when people ask me, what are we going to do going forward, the only thing I can say is let them self-destruct. because there's no way that they're ever going to hold each other accountable for anything. They want us to be held accountable all the way. They want to be able to look into every aspect of our lives. They want the government to overreach into women's doctor's offices and make their decision for them. They want to overreach into the gay and trans community and make their decisions for them. They want to go back and cherry pick ancient books, and they want to twist the Constitution to say what it is that they want to say. But when it's one of their own, oh no, just let the public decide that. Let the public decide about Matt Gaetz. Let's not bring this out. Let's not have politicians tell the truth. I mean, oh my God, if a politician told the truth, what would happen? And people wonders why so many people is sick of MAGA. We're in for the long haul. It's going to be a rough and rocky ride. It's not going to be easy. But you do have to remember that we didn't vote for this shit, and a whole lot of people didn't. And a whole lot of people stayed home who really helped cost this election, but they really didn't buy into it either. There are probably people that just got disgusted with the entire system, and this is part of the reason why. It's like, I mean, I can so see why people would just walk away and throw their hands up. I mean, I would never do it, but I can see why people would just say they're just the biggest bunch of hypocrites I've ever seen, so I'm just going to bow out of this one. If these people truly cared about children, and if they truly cared about what happened on that island, they would definitely want to know what one of their own was doing. They wouldn't be trying to cover it up. They would oust him. They would publicly shame him. They would distance themselves from him if these allegations were true. They would make sure, they would come out and say, we do not stand for this. But they don't do that. They only do it when they can somehow pin it on someone on the other side. If it's one of theirs, they're completely two-faced about it, and that's what's so sickening. We're in for the long haul, folks. It's only going to get worse. I hate to say that, but all we can do is just sit back and watch them self-destruct and then pick up the pieces and lift each other up and lift up all the people who are going to be hurt by the pieces they leave behind. That's all I know to say to you, really, is help those in need, lift up other people. A lot of people are going to be hurt by these ridiculous ideas, these ridiculous policies, and these ridiculous clowns running the show. And they may never hold each other accountable. They may always find a way to help each other out of their criminal activities. But all we can do at this point is just lift up people in need and lift up the ones that are going to be affected by it and try to get to the midterms and hope that we can have an election again where our voices are heard. I didn't mean to bring down the room. I always want to encourage people to keep moving. I always want to encourage people to keep putting in the good work and fighting the good fight. And I understand that these things are going to get heavy. I want to say this up front to all the people that says, oh, Brando's just about clicks and likes. No, Brando cares about you. And I want to make sure everyone's okay. If you need to lay your phone down and not watch me for a week, take a week off, take a month off, take 6 months off. If I've still got a platform, I'm going to be sitting here in this chair talking about this every day because I feel like now that it's the whole reason I'm on this earth. And I'm not one of those people that really believes in predestination or my destiny or any of that. But I definitely am never going to back down, and I'm never going to stop talking. So you come along for the ride when you feel like it. Take care of yourself. Make sure, put your mental health first. Make sure you're doing okay. I'll be here doing it regardless. I'll try to keep control of my own too, by the way. And we'll just keep standing up against this insanity because that's what it is. And to the Piers Morgans of the world, it says, tone it down. Stop calling them out for this. No, we're going to keep calling it exactly what it is. Insane. We're never going to sane wash any of this.